mystery. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas and we have wonderful guests. And I have with me a wonderful guest that everyone is happy to hear what she has to say and has found out from Spirit. We're going to talk about what's really under the ice in Antarctica. Jenny's going to give us, fill us in on that. So, welcome, Jenny.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. It's a little chilly here today, but we're okay. I wish the sun was out, but it doesn't work.
Oh, they're in Minnesota or
yeah,
wherever you're at.
not much sun.
We got a lot of greetings already in the chat, so it should be a great show today because I bet people have lots of questions. And the one thing that I thought we might touch on is that what they call that anomaly, which you had drawn. How long ago did you draw this picture? It's even got the same shape.
Right.
You know, I can share it if you want.
Okay. Hold on a second.
There it is. Okay.
So it's kind of mirror, but it's fine. So I think that's over 2 years now. It's been over 2 years, and that's all ice. So, and I used a specific name because they called it the Rose Lake, Ruby Lake. And so, and when I got that, I first looked at it in the 3D process, how they explained it to me. And then, and now, as you're looking at it, because they said when I tried to draw that, and it had ice, and then it had all this other stuff going on. Sorry, can you just? So anyway, let me turn that down. Okay. So anyway, so that ice process, you see on the side where it's all white, and then they just showed this red. I was just like, okay, why are you showing me this? And then they're like, okay, there's value in it, and then there's energy. And that was the thing about it. And so the thing is, and when I got this, I was like, well, this isn't going to make sense to anybody, and it doesn't make sense to me, but I drew it, I put it out there. And then we found some things in our Antarctica that said, it had some targeted areas that they were talking about. So what I think, because when they said energy, and the color of it and how it would be showing itself. And I talked to people that worked in the area and everything, and they were like, well, this is not there. Which I'm thinking, okay, yeah, you see it on the surface, but they're telling me it's lower. So now all of a sudden, last week, everybody showed me this apparition of this color that's on the solar, on Google Maps and everything, and it showed up, not on Maps, but a Google World. But now we're in a process of comparing it and looking at it. But the thing is, this is not going to go away. You're going to see it a couple times, because this has to do with what's inside of it. And the thing they compared it to is Grand Canyon too. And the reddish process for Grand Canyon. And so they compared a couple things with it. You know what
I'm
I'm
not far
saying?
from there.
Right? So the thing is there was, like they said, there was an energy with it, and then there was a value with it. So we got two different. That's why I called it the ruby. And there's pictures on Instagram of it too, and I've talked about it several times. But the biggest thing that they showed always with this is the queen's crown has it in the middle of her crown. And I always use that picture to compare it to. So we have to get out of the 3D on this concept. So we're trying to analyze it in the 3D, and we need to go above that in the 4D and the 5D of this novelty thing, how it's going to appear and what it's going to do. So, because I always show there's an energy that's in it, and that they showed me that the negative would want to access this. And it's just interesting how it's appearing now, and it hasn't appeared before, you know. So it just kind of shows you how things are changing in our times and what's happening, right? And Spirit said there's certain things that will happen in our atmosphere that it really doesn't have anything to do with man, and that they just need to stay out of the way. I've said this in several videos, and just let it happen. So we're not going to be able to control certain things. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask, would that be something to do with the dimensional change in the planet that's happening right now? And somehow it's an energy that perhaps is somehow helping to facilitate that?
Yes, and that's the whole thing. And this is what they told me. They said that it's very valuable, and then that other species would love to access this. So that's what was the thing. And this was what, two years ago. And then at first they presented it as like, this is a ruby lake. Come on, look at ruby lake. There's rubies everywhere. There's rubies. It's a reddish form, and then it has an energy. So all I do is I present this stuff, and this is one that I was uncomfortable kind of presenting, like, oh yeah, okay, ruby lake. So, you know, and then the energy, and then it's worth value. So I just put it out there, and you know me, I just wait for it to show some type of verification. So, and that's on Instagram too, like everything else. So that now, so what they're saying, and I asked them about this recently, and what did I tell you last week? I told you last week, keep an eye. I was specific on Antarctica. Keep an eye on it. Or when I talked about this, it was the last show I told you to keep an eye on Antarctica. And I even said Ross, what's that, Ross? Anyway, there's Ross by it, and it's a nice area that's there. So
it's been moving around. There's no doubt about that.
So the thing is,
disappeared for a little while, and then it came back up, and then
that's what that dimension, you know. And and I tell people, get out of the concept of 3D, go into a higher understanding of this process, you know.
I don't know how I did that.
That's what it was, Ross Shelf. Okay. So they kept showing me that area. And so whether it's going to stay stagnant in that area, but that Ross Shelf is Pacific. But we also talked about how I thought that Russia, Putin, was going in through the ice, you know, and was opening something. We talked about this too, you know, and how it's releasing something, and that all these artifacts are in Antarctica, and that we need to recognize that all those are going to end up surfacing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing.
Yeah. That was a big secretive area,
right?
You know, very few people went there, or it did have some restrictions, but the biggest restriction would be the cost of getting there and being able to do anything in the first place, which most people wouldn't even begin to be able to afford anyway.
Yeah, and that's the thing about these. What people that know me, I just download it and I just pile stuff up until it needs to be seen, and then I put it out there when it needs to be seen, and then I want clarification of when it's supposed to be present, when it's supposed to show itself, and that's what I always wait for. I'm probably I'm hard on myself to when this is going to be verified. So now this is one that I did not think it was going to be this soon, and so what I'm saying is we need to keep an eye on that. We need to keep an eye on, because it's not just one event that's happening in that area. There's other things that are going to be a chain effect towards this situation. And
so does it trigger other things to happen? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because it's an energy. The biggest thing was that they were showing it's an energy. It's a form of an energy. And the biggest thing there, the negative would love to tap into this. So the thing is, where people are subjective to what this is, all you have to do is sit back and wait and see how this ends in this process. How is it going to end? Are we going to see more of it? Are we going to see more of these? Our energy on this earth is changing, and we're still stuck in the 3D. The concept of stuff like this doesn't happen. Well, it's happening.
Yeah, the 3D mindset is pretty ingrained, shall we say, imprinted in a lot of people. Not everybody, obviously, but a lot of people.
Right, exactly. It's so. Well, go ahead.
I'll just put up a couple of comments that people have made. H2O. California rice farmers still have last year's crop in storage. Someone tell me why people are starving. Yeah. Crazy. New higher dimension energies are flowing into the planet. I can now see white energy illumination around plants and trees in nature. So beautiful to see. We are rising. And I've seen animals doing wonderful things, and children too, because they're higher vibrational.
Right. Like John says, talking to 3D beings is so frustrating. And I get that. And so this is where I talked about nature and how it's going to change and how it's going to affect us different and how nature's upgrading. And you're seeing that. And it's your focus on how you're looking at things and how you're looking at the details. That's what matters. It's very important. So, whether it comes, the whole thing with the process of California, like I said, these people need to batten down the hatches now, because you're at a process. You're going to have to ride out the storm on this situation now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Without knowing what's really going on, which would make it kind of pretty scary. Somebody just said it's frustrating talking to 3D beings. Yes, it is, because you can't carry on any kind of deep conversation. You can talk about the weather.
Oh my goodness.
and little minor things of that nature. But anyway, it's
it is frustrating. It is literally the heads in the sand, their butts hanging out.
And H2O says there are plenty of food here. Yes, there is. There has been, and it's a distribution problem. There is all over the entire planet. Again, a distribution problem, not a problem of inability to have enough. We got enough. We got more than enough, but it doesn't get sent or distributed to certain areas on purpose.
Right. So like they're saying, drop at the bridge on the East Coast. Pay attention.
Oh, here's this one. Okay. I dropped a bridge on the East Coast. Pay attention. I dropped a bridge. What do you mean you dropped a bridge? Another bridge dropped, maybe? I wouldn't doubt it. The bridges are going down. Buildings are going down too.
Right, exactly. So, and the bridges are going to keep going for a while. So like we talked about in the past, but I mean, you're going to see more of them. And then I did another drawing on the Golden Gate, but the Golden Gate has waves with it. The thing when I see on that one, there's waves of the ocean, currents that are part of that, but part of that too has to do with earthquake, because I have a radar thing of the earthquake and the Golden Bridge is in the back. So I think that's an event, and there's a chain effect with that process that's coming. So I think you're seeing these people on the bridge and all this stuff because it's distracting. And you're seeing this O.J. Simpson is situations distracting. They're not. They don't want you to pay attention to the fine detail of anything. Nothing.
Someone said that I have seen that white energy above my head only at night, though. If I look up, it's gone.
It depends on the lighting. It depends on where you're at on the planet. It depends on the vibration. It depends on the energy source. It depends on your view. I mean, there's a lot of...
That's not... I didn't mean to bring that up. Oops. There. Somebody's asking, do you know anything? Did you see the flooding in the Dubai airport? Wow.
Yeah, that was a lot of water, and that I think that came from what they were saying, a chain effect from what is happening in Antarctica, and then you're seeing the chain effect.
Okay, interesting. And then that energy thing went past that area. And supposedly there were big waves all around it.
Right, and that's that picture where I did the wave and see the energy. Remember I did this picture, and it has a wave and it has the energy. I've been saying this stuff for a while and drawing this stuff. People don't understand when at night, sometimes in the morning, I kind of forget what I've done. But yeah, this is what I'm talking about. And then even on the drawing I did do
you have to draw these right when you see them? You've got to kind of draw them right away.
Yeah, because it's frustrating if you don't hurry up and get the information and put it down. So, I mean, they're showing waves on this. They're like really high, and then you can basically see through the wave of how it's circulating. So on this one, it really shows that. So, but it has to do with the energy above that's in our air, and it's coming in a circle motion dimensionally too, and it is red and orange. So, like again, you just got to wait till we get to a certain process. People want things to go back to a norm, but there is no norm anymore.
No. Yeah. We don't want things to go back the way they were. No. Good heavens, no.
They would like it, but there's no norm anymore.
They don't know what they're asking for because they don't know what's been going on all this time because they're still asleep. But they're going to find out in a big crash. Somebody said in a dream they were suddenly in white light and like a magnetic pulling across my chest, pulling up or out. Do you know anything about what that might be or mean?
Okay, a dream last night, suddenly a white light and like a magical pulling across my chest and pulling. That's the upgrade, the crystal line that I keep telling people that we're going into, that and that we're shedding the body and we're going to the crystal line and the higher self and the memory and all of that. We're going to shed, the physical frame, and that's these people that are been working on themselves for years spiritually. I mean, they're in a calm moment of just letting things be revealed, let it go down. They're not in a panic mode. They just want it done. They're like, bring it on, keep going. That's what's, they just want it, and that's because they've been prepared. They're prepared.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see here. Oh, I made it like somebody. We're glad you made it, Nancy. And Dennis. So he said that makes sense what you said. And
yeah, so it's just a light that you feel like, and there's a numbness.
Yeah.
You feel like it's really not part of the body anymore. It's like it's discarding the body, and it's really going into that crystal line, into that light and that frequency. And that's where with my students, I'm actually doing a meditation that's for that crystalline stuff, and they're feeling it. They're going through the process. They're getting it. So it's just really going through this process.
And I guess it would affect everybody in similar but different ways depending on where they're at and
Right.
things of that nature.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole process, is that it's going to affect each person a different way.
Well, just like we're all different.
I mean, that's right. The whole. Yeah, we're all different. Sorry. So we process information different at different veils of understanding. And that's why what you go through in your upgrade is going to be different from someone else. And that's why, it's important to go within in your own creation and with Creator to feel that energy and not resist it and not be afraid of it. That's the whole process that I've been telling people for a while. It's you going through this process. It's you deciding that you're okay with everything and flowing with that energy completely across the board.
Yeah, I would think maybe it's a kind of like a premonition of what to expect to come, to some extent in your dream. Here's a question for you. I think we covered this last time a little bit, or with somebody anyway. So, hello, love from Arizona. Question: have you heard of the demon face situation where people are seeing the soul for what it ain't?
Okay, so you can bring the picture up. I sent to you. Was it a week ago? I sent it to you.
Let me see if I can. You might want to talk about it. I'll see if I can find it.
So when I did the drawing, and the thing is they just showed me the extension of the mouth coming out, the whole, how it comes out this way and it expands. And this is not like a human process that we're dealing with anyway, and almost like the jaws extend out just to engulf.
I don't know if I have the picture of the demon that you drew, which has that wide mouth. Is that what you're talking about?
Let me see if that's the one.
Okay. Let me bring that up.
So we'll see. Because, that's the one I drew.
Yeah.
So that's the one I drew.
And you notice the wide, the mouth.
Yes, the mouth. And then they showed I'm going to give you a description. The tongue thing has a suction with it. That's what was trying to get people to understand. There's a suction inside the mouth. So it's just, how can you engulf like that? And there's this, it sucks it in. And then you see how the throat is bigger, just like snakes, how they engulf everything and all. Yeah. And it's not these ears, but the eyes, the smell, the whole thing, and then of course they put false information out there. So when you're trying to look at it, something like this, and you're like, well, it's in front of you looking like this. So yeah, that's what I see. And that's what Spirit showed me. And so
it looks very reptilian-like too, from the different things I've seen.
So you see the side of the mouth, how you could tell that it expands out. So it's very, I don't like everything I draw, so
yuck. So you said, yes, I saw a snake eating a mouse once. That's gross. Yes, it is.
Right. Exactly. So that's what I got off that. So
it sounds like Beetlejuice characters.
It does. Exactly right.
Yes. Oh wow. We see one of those Christians. How should we handle it? Run or smile? One of those Christians. Well, you're dealing with a demon. That's what you need to know.
Yeah.
So,
well, what I said with reptilians and demons, they want to do the same thing. It's about control.
That's why I think it was Trump that read that snake poem where the woman,
Yeah, what do you know?
yeah, picked up the snake that was frozen and nursed it back to health, and it ends up
Oh,
biting her, and it was poisonous, and she dies. And it goes, well, what do you expect?
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's about consumption of them, consuming you, controlling you, and then containing you. So, and that's so.
This is interesting. That the comment, divine illumination 333, Dennis Davis. We also leave our bodies while we sleep. The more you're able to surrender, the more that will be revealed to you. Enjoy it. It's a phenomenal process with nothing to fear.
Right, there is nothing to fear. So when you go through it, have control of where you're going, and you can say when you're done. You just have to have that conscience of being in control of the situation and not in fear in any form. So then you're starting to see, like I said, these bridges. You're going to see more of that. And then you're going to see, like I said, the buildings, burning buildings, bringing buildings down. I'm seeing you're seeing them more overseas than you are here. And that's starting to happen because they're either going to be locked out, they're going to be dead bolted, either burnt or just completely dismantled. So, and that's what I see that's coming. And these corporations, these 3D corporations, locked out, dismantled, and that's what you're seeing too. The rise up of what's going on is starting.
Well, somebody asked the question, how do we react when we see them? Can they attack us? Do we just walk away?
No. The biggest thing that I always tell my students is identify. And so that is not your energy, and that is you're identifying what it is, and that makes them lose their composure of what they think you know. And that alone deters them to even try to step into your realm or try to get you to submit to their lies. Everything, a demon, reptilian, anything that's trying to portray itself as something else, that word through the soul is identified in a very strong understanding. I teach that in class.
Okay.
So it's always to learn.
So that pretty much drives them away then.
Right, because they don't know what you know, and it loses their composure, and that backs them up to go, oh, I don't know what they're seeing, and they're not seeing what I'm presenting to them, and they're leery about it. So yeah.
Ooh. This was interesting. I've seen, listen, she says, the picture looks like my ex-husband when he would get mad at me. His eyes would turn black. That's creepy. That sounds like reptilian. Yeah, I just saw a video short of a bunch of people, and they were showing the different eye movements and the different eye. It's really weird. It works different ways for different reptilian types, from what I could tell. So that was kind of weird. But I also saw a picture on a video in the UN, and it was someone that had their hand raised, but their face was not even close to being human. It was definitely a reptilian type. And that
mirror effect is starting to break down. The whole mirrors, the matrix mirrors is starting to dismantle. And people, if you're focusing on the right thing, you're starting to see through that veil.
So we might be seeing beings here that we didn't expect or know were here. Right. Because they look like us, but they're not us.
Right. Exactly.
Just like the KM, and you know who they're not human.
Not at all.
So, wow. Oh, somebody says they were married to a woman, married to a man Whose eyes did that? Yeah, well.
I'd be getting out of that bed really quick. So, I mean, so as we're talking about the, the buildings and stuff happening, and like, this whole, remember I talked about the puzzle, and how this world is flipping. And like I've said this in the past, and I said, you don't know if you're on top or we're on the bottom. You've only been told what is programmed into you. Yeah. And that's the whole thing. And I was talking to a gal last night, and we were like so below, so above, and I was thinking of that. The spirit was like, so you think you're on top, but below. And they also, there's another thing that you think creator is just above, and why isn't he? It's the whole process. Is he below and above in that process too? I mean, that's the whole thing. All these programs that we don't acknowledge, at all. We know.
Well, so how many true human souls do you think there are on Earth?
Like I think I've said 35%.
How many?
35%.
35?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's I've heard that figure before. 30 to 35%. Yeah.
Yeah, I do not believe
that's not a very high percentage.
No, it's not. And so it's a hard thing to concept, but when you look at your neighbor and you, especially today, how everything seems different, people react different, you're really seeing the difference, right? You're really seeing the difference.
I didn't quite understand what you said.
We're seeing the difference.
Oh, yeah.
Your neighbor, the person that you're around, all that stuff. And this concept, many years ago, you would thought 99% were all humans. And now that you've brought into this idea of things that are not, you're like, looking at this, instead of just assuming that you're looking at things different. Each neighbor different, each person that you work with different, so it's changing of what you're accepting is the truth now. You're suspicious, can't talk today, suspicious on what you're seeing, and you're analyzing more instead of just assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, H2O, did everyone forget the first bomb that Trump dropped? I'm not sure I know which one you're referring to. He's dropped a lot of bombs.
Yeah. Which one would it be?
Which one are you talking about? Because I didn't put them in any particular order. But if you put it in the chat, I'll put it up. So
yeah,
you do that, and I'll put it back up.
There were many.
Let's see.
The many truth bombs. Please, the truth bombs. So on the financial end of things, which I call the big mafia brother, is being put in the highlight, and the big mafia brother, which everybody knows, if you get a check, they take a percentage of your check, as now being highlighted in the mistakes that they've made and what they've done and how they've done everything. And now they literally have people at their door asking questions. And a spirit told me to, on Monday, they're like, pay attention to that institution, because you're going to see more information about it. And in the coming days of the dismantling phases of it. So we all know what that is, taxes. So
somebody's asking, when will we see clones and NPCs just stop functioning?
New York City.
We'll see. Yeah. There's probably a vibrational or dimensional
I think
point.
the dysfunction's already starting. And the dismantling phase is already there. They're already acting different. They're already their mannerisms and what they're doing, I mean, that's already happening. The oversensitive in every situation is already happening. And especially when they want to control the what you think is right, and they want you to guide into the program that they have put out there in the past 3 years. And that's part of it. That's the program.
Oh, Sherry has got an interesting comment here. She says, I believe words are so powerful that what we speak breeds using no, not, never should be replaced with free from, free of, I decree. What words do you say? What words do you say to keep good in my space only?
Bring in the light.
I'm not sure what you mean by that exactly, but what do you mean you were told to settle down? I didn't know. Were you being rambunctious or what?
Is there such thing as settle down? I don't know what that is.
Oh, here, Gail, our Gaia loved one, says, do these 65% know what or who they are, or are some of them in the same situation as us? They don't know.
They don't know. They're not interested in knowing.
That tells you a lot right there.
Well, I was talking about certain programs that are out there that if you've been taught and programmed that this is the reality, this is a reality, and there's some other programs that take it to a huger extreme, that they think that thought that they were doing, good work, and it was another government program, and that actually hasn't been in any form of a reality. It's been in a form of a program, and so there's different types of veils that have to be dismantled. That is going to affect people's conscience or their program. Because once that reality of that not being the reality, there's a dismantle phase that's going to come in. I want you to think of what type of different programs are out there into what has been forced into your mindset, whether you're a drone process, a clone.
Raised in a religious environment, it would be one example. That would be conditioning and
well, the government is good at conditioning for certain individuals when you're young too. And I'm talking about ones that they saw potential at a young age, and then they programmed them and put them under their power and used them. So all these different type of programs are going to be seen for what's really going on. I don't know if we're ready for all of that. I don't know if they're ready to accept how deep it goes. It's deep.
Yeah, Q-Face and yes, we're beginning to see more truth now, and we are. And
so let's talk about Israel. And I did a video on this about the Holy Land and how it would be the last war, and how that the beings that would come out of there are just literally programmed to the kills, and that they're just functioning in a program, and that is the last fight, the last battle. Go back to some of my videos on YouTube. I've talked about this last process, that is the last stand. That is the last process. And and it started into that process when they created that new temple, and that was always going to be the beginning, and then the end would be the last fight, the last stand, which you're seeing in a futuristic visual that you're seeing the way it's unfolding. And I'd have to go back to the exact YouTube, because I've said it in several, and I've described it. But when this whole thing that happened over the Holy Land, what's going on, it's it's something to be expected. It's the last and the stand, but also there's so much stuff in the ground that has to be risen to the top, that has been hidden under those pile of churches, the dirty bones. Everything has to be surfaced, and I've said that. So
that's all they hid everything from us, huh? By hiding it away in underground tunnels and cities and
pile a bunch of
everything
churches
else
on top of it and make them confused and let them fight over an area where it's really not about that.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me see this one. Jenny, any idea how hospitals and schools will be affected and how they will function in the future?
Well, I think with hospitals, that name will change, because it's not hospice in the way. and I mean in the way that we're going through. In that way, we're not going through that process. We're not going through the long-term suffering. We're going through another process that's easy. That's going to be the hard program to accept, how we heal instantly, spontaneously, collectively, instead of giving us stuff that's never going to heal us. It's just going to keep us sick, I think. And that's in the dismantling phase, as John is in the chat. He's telling you he used to work for them. So it's happening, so those phases of dismantling that society is happening in a very big way.
Mm-hmm. I think you were going to mention something about that organization listed there.
The tax mafia.
Yeah.
And that, I think what you're seeing, people are not happy with it now, and they're physically showing you that they're not happy with it, and they're at their door and they want answers and they're not getting them and they're getting locked out. So it's just it's a part of any corporation that's out of money and they have no sources. What do? You just lock the people out.
What do you see happening to these? All our states are corporations.
I already feel that that's changing. Mm-hmm. I already feel it. I think that's it has to go back to being responsible and taking care of your community. It has to be the power has to be back into the community. It has to be set back into those people. And they have to be watching and paying attention instead of just assuming. So I think, like I said, in the days to come, you have to decide what you're going to be working on for and giving to humanity. You can't just sit back anymore. You have to contribute in some way on this planet. Like again, the eclipse was a big nothing burger, a big distraction burger, again. And everybody,
it looks so fake to me.
Everybody jumped on the bandwagon. All these communities, all these, what communities they are. Anyway, everybody, and then it's because it's just a shift. Remember, I told you they all shift in the same direction and they follow each other in that direction. And then it finds out it's nothing. And that's what I'm saying. It shows you what they're led by. They're led by the program. They're led by not thinking on their own. They're not led by using their own instinct on what's going on. I mean, the whole thing with me is I go against the grain because it's not feels right. I say what I feel because I go by what spirit tells me. I don't care what comes at me. I just want to stay on that track of the truth. And using that word truthers has not turned out that way. It's turned out to products. And I mean, as they're the product, as they are the,
they're promoting themselves for the money, basically.
Their own products. They are owned. Yeah. They are the product. And they are coming to an end of their demise in what feeds them, because they fed off the fear. They fed off the fear. They fed off the control. And now that's coming to an end. So your intentions of what you have done or to be seen to the people. After this phase, after this financial flip, you have to look at what you provided for them now to this point, and how are you providing after this happens. And that's why I said focus on what's after. What's after? What am I still going to be doing? Still enlightening people, still giving them direction, but of independence, like it's from the beginning, of independence and making their own decisions. And so those processing programs and egotistical idle stuff it's going to end. 107. So anyway, that's going to end.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
And some of those have a price. They do. They bid their soul in that price. But some of us didn't have a price, because our true intentions is to get the information, get to a process of truth, and then continue the process of truth and hold the podium of light to the truth, and then help humanity. That's what it's about. That's where you're going to see that divide. Do you think in that process of when this happens, that when some of these do get their funding, they're going to disappear? They're going to disappear. We talked about this. And because now it's an easier life to not do anything, to not put effort out there to explain things to people and help them out. But some of us, it's in our core of who we are to continue the journey and help people until everybody doesn't have questions anymore and they know where they're going. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're here.
Yeah, the memory. That's why they always tell us to remember who you are. Remember, water alone, and we're over 70% water, stores so much memory that Silicon Valley, which is a bad area, by the way, but they actually were looking at how much more can be stored just with water. And since we have it in our body, it's not that hard to imagine that we have a lot of memory stored that we may not have access to, but it is there. We're going to gain access to it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, we are. And that's what I call the higher self, with the reflections of like 20 reflections of how that comes in. And that's why you're already starting on some of the things. There's initial information that you don't understand how you're accessing information or how you're getting in, how you have the knowledge of the past. And it's just tapping into those frequencies of yourself, those higher sources. And that's the whole thing. I mean, and that we're at this process. I'm not worried about anything that is like sabotaged or dark anymore, because it's already in its dismantling phase.
Yeah, it's going away.
it's and they know it. They know it inside them because they made that choice already. They know they made that choice. They know what they chose. And they're in fear. And that is what you're seeing, panic and development of pushing things just a little more, because we're at the end. We're at the end of that process because we have to shift a different way. So, and when that does, like I said, how you serve in service might change a little, but you're still serving. You're finding a way to still give people information. It's just a different way of translating, or people coming to ask questions in a different way, because they're not going to be, it's not about the awakening anymore. It's about this new process. Their enlightened process of what they can do now. And that's the thing. I tell people, okay, so the funding's done. What now? Have you planned for that? What's next? What's your soul going to do? Yeah.
Think about it. Consider it.
Right. And that's why I'm getting people that want to do classes now, and they want to get in line with it. They're all like, we want to get in line. Now we're ready. We're ready to get in line. We're ready to find our potential. That's what's changing. So yeah, I mean, and you see the energy, the light energy that's on this plane now. It's strong. It's here, and light always beats darkness. Always does. And so that stuff, that 3D process of its intentions are being seen. So it's not something you have to put energy into more, because you just have to be bearing the witness now. You're bearing the witness and seeing it, and seeing that. Just bear it. Watch it. Dismantle in every way.
Do you have any idea? Someone was asking what percentage of migrants are NCPs, and what will happen to them?
I'm not getting a big percentage. I'm getting, about 15 to 20. I'm not getting that big of a percentage. I'm not feeling that in a graph way. Some of it's camouflage, and some of it is NPC. NCP. Yeah.
Well, here's another question for you. Hi, Jenny. I haven't asked this question. Are the bonds and the currencies that are going to be redeemed and exchanged a part of the cabal, or is it okay to have and participate in?
So I've always said, and everybody knows, it's gold and silver with me, and that's what Spirit has told me to. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a bond. I mean, if it's not lining with those two things, I would definitely say that I would be looking at it and analyzing it different, because it has to do with a new system. What you're putting in, is it going to accept it? Is it going to dismantle? Is it going to downgrade? And that's why anybody that knows me, the teaching in, doing readings, I'll keep to that process, silver and gold, and that's what I've started from the beginning.
Well, some people, it takes, if you don't have the extra resources like right now to be able to buy gold and silver, what are people how are people gonna do it?
Right. Well, anything that's the old regime, I would be, if I made that choice, I'd be getting out of it.
Yeah, I think all of this stuff is just a temporary, transition-y type thing for this exchange and redeemed or what have you. There's going to be a time, and it doesn't seem that far away, that people aren't going to be, for want of much of anything. It will be provided.
Right.
How that happens exactly, I'm not sure. But that's what I think. I don't know.
Right.
Okay. Exactly. Let's see. Oh, someone mentioned this. I heard this too. Klaus Schwab was just arrested by the White Hats and taken to Gitmo. That is a good sign.
That means you keep an eye on Chase Bank.
Yeah, it's crazy over there in Europe and the Mideast, and all the war. It's like all they want to do is be fighting each other over something. It's terrible.
Do you hear that one in the chat? How come all the so-called psychics, only Jenny's prediction, are coming?
What's this one here? Okay, here's one for you. How can you tell if heavy energy coming over you is demon energy or ascension energy?
Because, like everybody tells you, I say stay out of the left side if it goes on the left side, and there's a heaviness on the shoulders, the neck, and then the headache is something in the process that's always on the left. And then if it is a good intention, it's uplifting, it's light, it's in a movement, there's a light frequency with it. So identify again, and there's a consistency with the light. You know, the negative wants to project itself onto you and you to submit to it right away. And it doesn't want to invest too much time into you. So if you don't submit right away, that's why and a lot of demonic energy develops in psych wards and those institutions, because they're easy and vulnerable to submerge into them very quickly. It's about identifying and moving energy where it needs to be and dividing yourself from the complete left side of that energy. And that's why I always tell people identify and move to the right brain. If they can't do that, then and then the information, you always pay attention to it, whether it plays a game with your head. Undecisive information, and some people, they'll take whatever they can get to get energy, and they don't identify that it's there's a negative and there's a positive, because that's the first thing I teach with students is that, because you have to know that, you have to look at that, you have to identify that, you have to feel it, and it has to. If it can't stand in the light in that process and it doesn't stay consistent, it's going to mess with you. If you do on the negative, you feel like you're being messed with, you're being fucked with in a different way. So keep it in the right brain.
Okay. Somebody said, higher perspectives. I don't know about you, but I'm dizzy and fatigued this evening. And she thinks it's ascension energies.
I don't know, but I feel dizzy. There's it feels, and it comes in waves. Like I said, the back of the ear, you know, and then you also can hear it's an awning that goes like this, you know, and then I get a lot of electrical shots, and I said there's a static. So you're going online to your spiritual system, which is energy. So that's coming, it comes in waves. That's the thing, you know, you're feeling it in waves, the warmness behind it. So yeah. So if you're recognizing this is what I tell people when energy comes in. If you go, and this is the 3D negative, they're not alert, they're not paying attention, they're like a magnet that's just stagnated, and then it doesn't function well with them. When you feel it, ride it out, and then move it to the right brain and move it out. Ride with it. Don't resist it.
Let's go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
Okay. Here's another question. I have a question. When are we going to get help with our houses? Houses.
As in the mortgage, or as in?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Structure.
Oh, here's a little more to that. We don't have enough money to fix everything. Right.
That would be the structure. And I think that'll happen when we get to a process of funding.
This is city officials are dropping out in my community. They know what's coming. Yay. I'm waiting for them to drop out.
Communities. Every community that is working for the dark is dropping like flies. And they're cool. In panic mode. Yeah.
I'm waiting for them to drop in Maricopa County. It's coming.
Oh, let me tell you. I did
process.
I did a seminar this weekend thing, and it wasn't, you know, it was a different energy because Spirit told me to go. but there were people with my information. They wanted to know about what the awakening and the stuff that's going on. But let me tell you, I did see, once I brought the shepherd's name, brought in his position, that, and then you do see them just trigger in a complete demonic freak out. Like, what did you say? You know, it is that name really triggers them in such a it really alerts their demons of, oh, I can't, it's too much process for me to take, that you are going against what I believe, and that is a bad man, you know. So but there were people there that were just starving for the information, right in the middle of the city that's surrounded in the liberal process, that were just thirsty for it. You're finding that everywhere, and they're afraid to say anything. So yeah, it was very much a trigger. But when I'm in a situation like, I hold my own weight, I hold and stay steady on what I believe in, and I don't care. And it was surrounded in some negative energy.
Well, we were talking about this earlier. Cosmic Kev says a large number of migrants arrived in New York City Hall today in the thousands.
Hello, I want my money. You were giving us
shut.
money, and we still want money. Sorry.
I want free money. I don't want to have to work for it. I want it free.
And then they're like, we have no more money to give you.
That's going to cost so much. Whoa. That's not.
Yeah. Well,
I'm glad I don't live there.
that is not going to end. That's supposed to be bearing the witness. You're supposed to be seeing that. You're supposed to be witnessing it. You're going to see more of it. So,
part of the process of seeing all this is so that when it's all said and done, we never let it happen again.
Right.
Because we were asleep and we let little things slip here, little things slip there, not help our neighbor, not help anybody out that was, being attacked, things like that. That's got to change.
Right.
And it's starting to more and more. People are doing more all the time. I actually have a little video we can show at the end about random acts of kindness.
Right.
It's really, it's very touching. It is very touching.
Right. It is.
Oh, here's another one. This is a good one. Q-Fei says, I feel we will all heal quick when they switch the cell towers and the other negative frequency devices. Well, guess what? I haven't had a chance to look into the dangers, and I assume there are, with 6G, but that is something else that's being looked into and possibly changing from 5 to 6. So it's all nefarious, I'm sure.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah, things are changing. I had a quick switch to cell towers. Yes, and don't be surprised you've seen those burn down.
That's a private joke there.
Yep. Exactly. Another thing that's changing, and I talked about it, mediumship seems so much faster, so just quicker. It is just, and so you feel that realm is coming in. Or before it felt like there was a little bit of a distance, and now it's just right here. It's changing. That realm is changing with this new energy that's hitting the earth too. So I've noticed that in when I was doing readings in the past 2 weeks, it's just details are just getting more advanced and what they are coming in with too. So it's changing everything spiritually.
It's awesome, really. I welcome the change.
Right, I do too. I do. So I think, like this week, like I said, bridges are still going to go, watching the financial systems, certain names, so with those certain names dropping, paying attention to your accounts. And seeing a chain effect of that. It's going to start somewhere and then it's going to lead into a chain effect. So it's good.
This is somebody, I just put this up here. It says, good evening, Gail and Jenny. Awesome show. Thank you for keeping our spirit up. That's what we really do try to do that.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Because that's where we have to be. We need to try to be as up as we possibly can.
Right.
Because that affects the energy on the planet.
Exactly. So it's your potential.
This is interesting, Jenny, based on what we talked about before.
Oh my God. It's a 20% sale. It's a 15% sale. And they are getting desperate on information. It's nowhere to go, nowhere to get it and access it anymore, because this whole awakening is pushed in a corner of truth, right? We're in a corner now. It used to be, when it started, it was a big circle of information, and now it's pushed into a corner because people have figured it out. They know who are the real people putting the information, their real intentions, and now those ones, their intentions are the wrong side of things, which are the negative, are being exposed, and the ones that have been doing this on a consistent basis, working for the light, their information's holding through it. You know what I'm saying? So there's no more stories to spin. There's no information to make up anymore. Everybody is out of pacifying. Everybody's sick of being pacified. And now they want the truth. So, like I said, the truth will be seen in the light. And now guess what? The light's here and you're seeing it.
Yeah. I think, let me see if I can find this one sheet of paper. I want to show you. This has been part of our problem all along. Where did it go? Anyway, it was, what was his name? William Casey, I think his name was, and he said our mission will be complete when everything that Americans believe. Here it is. Okay. Oh, it's probably going to look backwards. Does it look backwards?
So yeah, it does. So just read it. See what it says.
I'll just read it. Okay. This is what William Casey, the CIA director, said in 1981. We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false.
True.
So they've done a pretty good job of that, didn't they?
It is what I call, and I'm doing t-shirts. Jeep is helping with the t-shirts, but there is I'm doing a road pavement, and their face is hitting on the pavement very hard, and they're sweaty, and there's a puke bucket on the side. And it says, and some of them were changed to the quotes, but another one is going to be, you chose it. You chose this. They chose the stages of awakening. They chose the reality, and they chose what not to see. They chose it.
Yep.
Do
you have any idea how
the pavement hard now? There's no light process anymore. We're going into hardcore pavement reality.
The real deal.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea how Biden will exit the stage?
Wiping his butt on the stage? I don't know. Something I always said. No,
okay.
That'll come there.
Somebody's just asking.
The truth is, I hope they just take off the mask. I think they just need to throw the mask off.
Yeah, that would have a big impact, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, literally take the mask off.
Yeah.
So somebody was saying this is complimentary to you, Jenny. It says, how come Out of all the so-called psychics, only Jenny's predictions are all coming to fruition. I love her soul. She is honest and doesn't sugarcoat, but wants us to first change the face in the mirror.
Right.
So,
And that's the truth, because the intentions of why we do things, and this is the thing I'm going to tell people: how I do things and why I do it. I know what's behind me, protecting me. I know they got my back. I know I've been with them from the time that I was here until the very end that I exit. And that's a difference of them, spirit. And I can't say enough about them, of what they're capable of doing. And so that it's a team behind me. It's not me by myself. It's with them.
wow. Someone says, thank you, ladies, for all you're doing. Peace, love sent your way. Thank you back. We appreciate it. And I'm so glad that Jenny comes on my show.
So I think, we're understanding, where we're at. So it's just bearing witness now that we're in a process of bearing witness.
Yes, that is so true. And that is happening all over with certain people in certain places, regardless of where they are. I don't know if you can answer this, but do you think the people in Israel who are good people will be safe?
I think they'll have a choice. That instinct will kick in, and I think they'll have a choice. And I think it is a test at that where they are. So I think there'll be a choice they'll make.
Okay. Here's another question. Was there a collapse of the timelines during or leading up to the eclipse? There was a big shift just before the eclipse.
There was a shift before it, and yeah, because it was very stagnated, but it wasn't. The eclipse was just a nothing burger.
Yeah, it was fake. I saw a picture where, okay, they have the black, let's see, the sun was going over the moon was going over the sun. But anyway, it was, the moon was over here, and that was supposed to be happening here. So
Exactly.
it was fake. I'm sorry, it was fake. But
yeah, so.
Hi, Laurel Ann. Thank you. Let's see. Trying to scroll through it. Let's see this question. Mary has. So I heard if we could all do this for one day, it would take down most evil beings, think positive things, and have love in our heart for others. What do you think? Could we do it together?
That is true, but also hold a higher vibration. It's the vibration. But the biggest thing about this is if they had one day of not being programmed into the fear, that would change the law. It's the fear. That will ignite it to be not in fear in that process. So that is the strongest part of it.
Yeah. So that's important. Stay positive. And I'm going to show a little video clip at the end, or when we're pretty much done talking, and I think you'll really like it. Or we could come back on. Either way. I don't know how you want to do it, Jenny, but it's really worth watching. It made me cry.
Yeah.
It really did, because what it was is different people doing, and you never see this in mainstream media. They only tell you all the nasty, ugly stuff that happens. They never tell you the good things that happen. And so, anyway. So they said the money in our bank accounts, especially in credit unions, will be mirrored, so our money will be transferred to gold back. So was that a lie?
No, that's not a lie.
No. Let me see. Okay, here's another question or story. I've been in the entity removal business for many years. This negative energetic form will attack or put attachments on many different areas of your person's energetic field.
It could, if you identify and push it away immediately, and you got to know your own energy balance. And when something comes in, it interferes. This is the thing that I could tell you. I'm going to talk about this. I don't get attacked by all the witchy poo stuff, because the minute that something is coming in your direction, it's going to try to get into your field. Okay. The minute that happens, you identify it and you push it away. That's how it reacts, because you act like it's yours, or you feel it's your physical body. The thing is about identification. And so that's the whole thing. You have to think of an area that is yours, and you only want your energy in that process. And when you push it out and you identify immediately, it's not going to be able to submerge within your vessel.
This is a good comment from Wide Awake. These off-the-chart energies and light coming in, they won't be able to hold their human form for long.
No.
We will see others who they truly are.
Dust to dust,
true.
ashes to ashes. So yeah.
What was that? That's all kind of loud. Okay.
Can I just step out for 1 second while you can read this real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Oh. Well, they're asking if we're going to do anything in person and get together in Sedona. That would require Jenny to come to Sedona, which would be fine. I wouldn't mind.
that would be great. To be wanting to sit in the sun, and
it would be great. It really would. Some are starting to panhandle around. There's going to be people are going to be hurting. Things are.
Yeah. That's part of the process of seeing the chain reaction and getting people to work together again and take care of humanity again. And that's the thing. I mean, I've had a lot of people purchase classes recently in the past 6 months because they were so afraid. Society told them, you can't do this type of work. You can't evolve yourself into being an intuitive and a healer and all this stuff. And there's an epidemic that's changing, that they're evolving into wanting to do it, and they're being blunt about their true calling. And that's what's changing. And those people are going to be holding podiums on this earth. They're the ones that are holding these podiums of light, and they're going to lead other people. So it's important that we're at that epic door that people are coming in, and they're really walking in their capability. It's changing.
Somebody put this up, and it's very interesting, Wide Awake, that you brought that up, because it's something that I read earlier today, and I'm going to share a screen and tell you about it. It does. Let me bring that up. You'll find it very interesting, because 5G does dehydrate us terribly, and I'm extra thirsty today too, so I don't know what's going on. But anyway, look at this. Okay, the cell is immortal. It's merely the fluid which it floats, which degenerates. Renew this fluid at intervals, give the cell something on which to feed, and so far as we know, the pulsation of life may go on forever. So they don't like the fact that that's a truth, because and we are constantly hit with 5G, and it is constantly. That's why you're thirsty. That's why most people are dehydrated. That's been discovered in health for many, many, many years.
Right.
Especially as we get older, we dehydrate more and more. So, and having these frequencies that they are responsible for putting our way is certainly a major contributing factor.
Right. Exactly.
Let's see what else we got here. A lot of comments. Okay, here's a question from QFA. Are we waiting for the tribunals to be over, or are we waiting for more people to be awake? What's your take on that, Jenny?
Well, I think they're already over, and I think they've been over for a little bit. And I don't think they're going to wait anymore for people to be awake. I'm sorry. I think we're at a point that they know.
enough is enough. Right? If you
Hitting
haven't
the
figured it out
pavement
yet,
hard. They're hitting the pavement hard soon.
yeah, and it's just because they just refuse to listen and open their mind to anything new and different, and it has to be done. It's just
Right.
anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Here's somebody maybe just getting on. So we talked about in Antarctica a little bit in the beginning. Do you want to say anything? Can you add anything to what we were already?
Well, just the fact that I want you to focus more on that area. There's a lot of things hidden in that area. There's a lot of things that you're going to see more energy come from in that area, and it's going to reveal the truth to the whole world. There's a reason why they didn't want us there. They didn't want us there. They didn't want us to see. And there's so many that really hate the flat earth thing process, and people don't believe in it. But it's different when you see it. I didn't believe it until I was shown through spirit of how it looks. I had no idea. And then when they showed me from a different view. So there's a lot of people that they can't get that concept past it, and it's just because that's another program. But you look in all these biblical terms, a long time ago, that's what they showed, the flat earth. It's in biblical terms of what it is too. And so I had to see it from a conscience view. Conscience. And as we know, I wait for it to be verified. So I'll wait for that to be verified. So it's just such a hard program for someone to sit outside the box on that. It's the triggers. It's another trigger. It's you know what? It's like a Trump trigger. Flat Earth. Oh, it's a trigger. Oh my God. So I got it from a different view. From everybody else that gets it, I got it from a view of being shown through these dimensions. So let it be seen for what it is.
Yeah, everybody goes around saying that it's a psyop.
Yeah.
CIA psyop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I frequently have been afraid to even. I had one show on once with Flat Earth Dave. By the time the show was over, I was pretty well convinced. But then I have other people that come and tell me, no, you're crazy. That's crazy, and so on. So I don't even like to go there. It's like when we get all the pieces to the puzzle put together.
You're looking at perception from this view, and I'm always looking at perception from a different view that I don't. And that's one, like, even with remote viewing, when I have to do stuff, do I always want to look at things that they're being shown to me? No. But do I have to accept the truth of what they are? Yeah, eventually.
Okay. 6G will cook us slowly on the inside. Well, 5G kind of does the same thing. We're being microwaved every day, believe it or not.
Right.
And you wonder why we're...
Time to leave.
Yeah, so our body deteriorates. Okay.
Yeah, I think
this is very true. Here's one for you. What do you think about putting your bare feet on the ground outside to anchor the energy coming in?
Oh, heck yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, excellent. Yes.
This is another thing they're telling me. Taking crystals, putting half in the ground and half outside the ground, and standing right in front of it. So they've been telling me that. They've been telling me.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they've been telling me to really be around trees. I've been talking about the tree thing for a while. So, yeah.
I'm drawn to trees for some reason.
Like in my signal group, I'm telling, I can't wait to be outside. I can't wait to be in the sun. I can't wait to garden, because I think the fruits are going to be different. You're going to see Mother Nature react in the spring a different way. You're going to know if the air is clean. You're going to know if the water's clean by nature, by the fruits that are grown in our world, in our ground. See if that changes your mind when you, because everything's been shrunk down and dismantled to nothing that's nutritious. Now we're going into a different process.
Well, they went through, they allowed all that GMO in, and it's not natural, and
No.
it affects your health. And after it was introduced, we could look at charts and see drastic increases in obesity and type 2 diabetes.
You know, and it's so bad when your food, when you have to tell everybody on the label it's no GMOs. Is that not just horrible? You have to let them know. It's pretty bad. And so, and I think the shepherd knows that is a priority, and I think that's going to be.
Oh my God! Look at this. This is interesting, Peg. Henry, there was a girl from Iran who wrote on her Instagram that the people of Iran love Israel and hate the Islamic regime. They arrested her today. In other words, that's like saying the government is the one that's bad. It's not the people. That's just like here in the United States. The people, most of the people, well, we've been lied and brainwashed and poisoned quite extensively, I think more than other parts of the world. But it's our government that's doing all this horrible stuff. It's not the people. The people, and unfortunately, if people believe the MSM too much, but that's a whole nother.
Right.
But that's sad that they would arrest somebody for that. I mean, talk about censorship. That they can arrest you for having an opinion about something.
Yeah, it's a bad thing. So
here's a question.
Go ahead.
Jenny, is there lands beyond on the other side of the ice wall? Is probably
yes, there is, and there's a group of us would love to go over there because they always show me it's tropic, and they show me.
Well, here's a similar, almost the same question. So they're asking if we'll be headed there.
I will. I would love to go.
I'm going. I'll go with you, Jenny.
Where's the door?
Yeah. As soon as we find
there's knowledge on the other side there. There's artifacts on the other side there. Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Load up. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people. If they had that opportunity, they would go. I would go. Just the discovery. There's a lot of us that are addicted to the truth. They're addicted to finding and revealing the truth. We're addicted to discovering the truth. We want the truth and only the truth. And we want to see it for our own eyes.
Here's one interesting post, too. I've seen the 500,000 sealed indictments now unsealed includes thousands of corporations, hospitals, and so on. I resigned from the hospital job 2 weeks ago. Will my colleagues be okay? I mean, how do you arrest a corporation? How do you charge a corporation?
I don't know how you charge a corporation unless you dismantle them, take their money, and prosecute them.
Oh, somebody said there's a troll. Where? Let me find it. Oh, here we go. The real deal again. Okay, they're talking crap again, I suppose. They're already blocked. You might see them, but it's not showing. I should probably block them even further. And when I figure out how to do that, I will do that. We have a troll, a sunflower picture. I can imagine they're saying nasty, ugly things. That's what they usually do. Or they try to get all sexual or some kind of crap like that. It's disgusting. They are disgusting. Yeah, the real deal is definitely not the real deal.
Right.
Okay. Thank you for showing your true colors. You're from the dark.
Oh, really? But the self-reflection is always, they're projecting their own. So.
Okay. Well, I have to look into that because I can block them even further. So
I just let them speak their demonic stuff. Because it doesn't bother me. I mean.
Yeah, I can't even see it because I blocked them on Restream. But the people that are in YouTube that are saying questions or whatever, they probably see some of the things he's saying. And last time I remember he was saying sexual things and so on.
Right.
Please give me a wrench. And
most of them just want attention, or they have mental issues.
I don't know how to give you a wrench from this program. Aspiring alchemist, and I really appreciate that. But I'll have to look into figuring that out and how to do that. So, but thank you very much for the offer.
Yeah. So,
but just ignore whatever it says.
Well, I mean, that's part of what they are. If you say something that's too close to the truth, they're in here. And I'm sure I pissed off a couple people this week. So, yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're at an hour and a half already, so we might want to wrap it up and let everybody know.
I was going to say, go look at Corey Good and James Gilman's previous show. They talked about this interference on the Galaxy Federation. Being very interesting. And as they say, go do the research yourself.
Yeah.
So, and then, like everybody at the end of this, I just tell people, you know how to contact me, readings, classes, information, and remote viewing and missing persons.
There's a good one. This is very true. The trolls never show their face, the cowards that they are. So real deal. Why don't you show your face? Why don't you show everybody who you are?
Because that's not what they're taught to do.
Yeah. And then someone else. The audience, they know what they got you figured out already, Mr. Real Deal, or whatever your name is. I thought only demons would make such a comment because they cannot survive in love. Jenny is love, and this demon is getting angry. Yeah, well,
I'm irritating it. I'm irritating its demons.
Yeah, yeah. Our light irritates the demons. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
Okay. Well, based on that note, unless you have anything else you want to say.
No, everybody knows how to contact me and get in contact with me with the email and the website and information. And all I could say is stay in the light. Like I was talking to Kimberly Pond this week, and I said, you're going to want to put your shield up because the shit is rolling and the negative is losing it. And I mean, it's just when you expect it, it doesn't faze you. You just expect it to come. So, I mean, it's just part of the process. They're in a dismantling phase. Let it come.
All right. That being said, everyone, shine your light, stay in the light, and do some of your own research.
Yes.
We'll see you
do
again.
Do your own
soon.
research. Listen to your own instinct.
Things, they are a-changing.
They are.
Listen to that voice inside. She always does that to me. Anyway, that being said, we're going to go, and we'll see you again another time. Thank you so much, Jenny.
Stay in the light.
Thank you, everyone.
We have found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are, and like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers, stronger than ever. Never say never. Don't look back now. Don't look back now. Rise up, stand with each other. We are sisters and brothers, finding our place and running the race. We'll take our chance and seize the destiny awaits. We are all the actors in the stories we create. Hope will be our guide. We'll no longer hide. When we roll like thunder, feel the wonder from inside. This is the time we form the chorus. Left your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers, stronger than ever. Never say never. Don't look back now, don't look back now. Rise up, stand with each other. We are sisters and brothers, finding our place and running the race. We'll take our chance and seize the moment. Hold on tight and don't let go of all your hopes and dreams that light the way.
Hi, everyone. I'm sorry. I meant to play this before I played the ending, and I just kind of spaced it out and forgot it. But let me play it for you right now. It's not very long, but I'm sure that you'll be happy that you watched it. It brought tears to my eyes because there are helpful humans out there.
There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying. Oh, when it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change. We all a part of God's great big family, and the truth, you know, love is all we need.
We are the children. We are the ones who make it brighter than day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day. Just you and me. Well, send them your heart so they know that someone cares, and their lives will be
Stronger and free, as God has shown us, by turning stone to bread. And so we all must lend a helping hand. We are the world. We are the children.
We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving.
Oh, there's a choice we're making. We're saving our lives. Get through and make a better day, just you and me.
When you're down and out, and there seems no hope at all.
But
You know, every now and then.